We're live?
Yes.
Hi!
Hey!
We're live. We're live? Are you sure we're live?
You made me laugh, by the way. That wasn't me making you laugh.
That was me making you laugh?
Oh, yeah, that was it.
Okay, so I'm Anna Brandt, and this...
I'm Chris Fain.
It's our first live video together, can you tell?
First of many.
We're still warming up. Yes, yes, yes! We're working on our... Oh! Why are we in this room and we're not in our other room?
It's too late now.
The other room's our YouTube room.
Let's go, guys. Come on.
We're back to our plain, boring backdrop.
I know, but I figured we needed light.
Oh yeah, we need space and light because we're talking to Profoto. This is Profoto right here.
The one and only.
All in this person. So Chris came to my studio today to talk about lights and the latest and greatest and go over on what we're doing. And we started having some conversations, and I actually had a lot of questions for him. And as I decided, listening to him, I could take notes and then try to translate it later, or we could just go live last minute. Why not?
Easy.
Try to get the word out as fast as humanly possible, knowing we're recording. So this will stay on our YouTube channel forever. So for everyone later at tonight, they'll start seeing it. They'll start seeing it tomorrow. It'll propagate. It'll take a while to propagate. But for those who happen to jump on right now with nothing to do, hopefully, for those 2 or 3 out there that are live, we want to go over some important things that we think the industry wants to know. So first, my biggest thing I think we should start with, that I think is the most important with newborns.
Yes.
Okay. The number one question, actually I have to say it's number 2 because I already said before the number one question is what camera do I use? And we already addressed that last week's video. That's the number one question. The number 2 question that I receive from all over the world, especially from Asia, is the light harmful to baby's eyes? And usually the question comes across our YouTube channel and it says, is flash harmful to the baby's eyes? Are you using flash? What kind of flash are you using? And are you sure you're not hurting the baby? And as a photographer who's been shooting 18 years, I'm pretty sure that I wasn't, but I had to question myself and ask, is it really harmful? And no one's really said anything in the industry that I know of, maybe I've missed it, about the light and how it affects the baby's eyes. Now, I use Profoto lights exclusively right now, and so Chris is here representing Profoto, so we can only answer from Profoto. So if you are using lights from another brand, I definitely urge you to talk to the company and get the answers to the question yourself. But we're just going to let Chris explain what he told me that made me feel better, and we'll be able to save this information so the clients that are coming to me and when I travel and teach, you can be comfortable knowing that the studio light that I use is okay and not harmful. So I'll let you explain it in your own words.
Yeah, I mean, it's really simple. It's a question that people ask us a bunch. And is it safe for the actual flash? Does it harm eyes? Does it harm skin? Do you have to worry about anything like that? And the answer is, for at least Profoto, is we UV code our stuff, so there's no ultraviolet being broadcast from our lights, whether it be the actual flash tube itself or the actual protective cover that we put over our lights. There are coatings to protect from that, and that's not to say that we don't have things in our pack and head lineup that you can manually replace the tube if you need something with a little UV. There are some people who do photography where they need it, but out of the box, UV coated. So out of the box, safe and sound, no skin damage, no eye damage. You don't have to worry about the flashes hurting anything.
And how far is the distance from the bowl? Because I'm using, how big is my umbrella that I'm using?
You have a 65-inch umbrella.
Okay, so the 65-inch umbrella, and it's round. We're gonna show the umbrellas today. What is the distance, do you know, between the bulb and, let's say, the end of the umbrella, or to the...
That is entirely subjective. So the cool thing, and I'll show you actually something with the umbrellas here in a second, but on everybody's lights, I'm sure we're not exclusive to this, but you can actually push the umbrella closer and use less of the umbrella, or pull it out further and use more of the umbrella. So if you're trying to quickly change the way it looks, just push the umbrella in closer or pull it out further.
Yeah. And what does that do by pushing closer, pulling it out further?
So closer is going to make the source smaller, so it's not going to be as soft
Okay.
It will,
light.
it will because the umbrella is still relatively large. It
Okay.
will have some softness.
Okay.
It's not the same as if you took the umbrella off altogether, and then you'd really have a hard light.
Got it.
But if you back the umbrella away from the head, it'll actually spread through the umbrella more. The larger the umbrella, the softer the light.
Right.
And so it's a really cool way that you can take one modifier and use it a couple of different ways. So if you needed to get in really, really close, but you didn't need it to be so huge, you could push it in a little bit and just utilize less of the umbrella.
Got it. Because I think mine's
hopefully
pretty.
That wasn't too wordy.
No, but I'm thinking about it. I think I always keep mine in a pretty long distance because I like nice, soft light. And that brings me to the umbrellas.
Yes.
I use the translucent umbrella.
Correct.
With a translucent cover. And I aim the round side, for lack of my term.
That's you aim the translucent umbrella the correct way.
Okay. Facing towards the baby.
Exactly.
But I see a lot of photographers, and a lot of photographers ask me all the time, why do you use it that way? Why don't you use it the other way? And so that's what we were talking about today.
Yeah, really simple answers too. So let me grab these bad boys.
Sure.
So for the sake of space in the frame, we're going to use smaller umbrellas.
Okay. Be like,
no, you wouldn't see us. You would just see umbrella.
I need a bigger studio.
Hey, future goals.
Future goals.
Future
you have
goals.
to have a plan.
So this is the smaller version of the umbrella that Anna uses, which is our deep translucent. Oh, I just dropped an umbrella. Pardon me. I don't know if you can. I'm sure you can see.
Out.
Yeah. So yeah, let me just put this down. So a translucent umbrella is actually meant to be photographed through. So if you actually try to bounce into a translucent umbrella, it will work to a point, but it's not as efficient as it could be. So the best way to shoot a shoot-through umbrella is by shooting through it. That's kind of why it's called what it's called. Now, there are other umbrellas out there that you bounce into, and they're made for that, and I will show you that with different finishes. But the advantage to a shoot-through umbrella, especially a deep one like this, is that you don't have any defined lines in your photo. So if you're really trying to get real soft, natural-looking light, the edges of this thing trail off quite nicely, and so it can give you a really beautiful natural light. And then you have, let's go silver.
Okay.
Cool. And then so the next one, this is going to be one of the more traditional umbrellas that people are used to seeing bounce into and back out of. The finish of this one is silver, and the silver is just a little more contrasty. It's not hard light because the size of the umbrella is very large, but it is a little, the word I use is crisp, but it can be naturally contrasty. So, but we do make a diffusion sock that you can put over the front of it, and it will, the diffusion sock will actually soften it out and even out the light a little bit more. And then next you have the white finished umbrella. Looks the exact same, just with a different finish. The white is a little more smooth, a little more forgiving. So if you're looking for a really good all-around umbrella, the translucent shoot-throughs and the whites are going to have a lot of functionality. And like I was saying earlier, you can take the umbrella and you can move it closer or further away from the light to use more or less of the umbrella. The same diffuser that works on the silver also works on your the white umbrellas, so you can use that too, and you can smooth that light out a little bit more. And so that's really the differences between the three umbrellas, kind of the looks that you're going to get from those. And these are some of the things that we offer here at Profoto. These umbrellas are from what we call our deep lineup, which give you a little bit more control over your light, whereas your shallow umbrellas generally throw light a little bit wider. So, but that's kind of our finishes, and I know Anna really wanted me to come in and show you guys exactly what the finishes were and talk about why you would use one for the other, or
so if they're using this one,
yes,
and they have a cover, they want to face it the other way.
Yes. So come right in here, Anna.
Yeah.
So if you're going to use this umbrella, you would point the umbrella like this.
So
you
I'm
would
the
shoot,
baby.
So you would shoot the light into the umbrella, and the light would come back out.
Right, and it has a cover on it.
And you can put a cover on it. The light would be inside of the umbrella, and the cover would the cover would actually cover over the front of the light, and the back of the light would stick out of it.
And doesn't that like get in the way? No.
No, it's not that, because usually the light is holding it right here.
Oh, got it.
So
got it.
I mean, it just depends on if you zoom the light in a little bit.
Right.
But for the most part, the light's usually sitting right here, so
Right.
the umbrella shaft isn't that big of a deal.
So for newborns, you want that soft light. You'd be more out here.
Exactly. You would move the inside of the umbrella further away from the actual bulb of the light.
Got it. Okay. So that makes sense. That answers my question, because I was like, gosh, I honestly felt like I was doing it the wrong way.
You absolutely weren't.
Because everyone's doing it the other way, and I'm like, why?
I think that's the beautiful thing about all this stuff, though, is there's really, I mean, there are rules, but rules are meant to be broken.
Right.
So, and especially in photography. So,
Yeah.
I think you learn the rules and then you break them, and that's when you really start learning your style.
Right.
So
We have questions.
Yeah.
We have questions? Hold on. We think we have questions on the internet. Yes.
Leslie asks, can you show it all set up?
I
Yeah,
can.
we can put a stand up. Sure. She wants to see it all set up. Do you have covers for these here?
I don't have my cover with me.
Because we don't have small covers, but we can show you ours all set up. Sure, we'll just get a light stand. Because I don't know if you've seen my videos before, but my lights are hung from the ceiling. So I have tracks, which is why you can't see the light, because it's over there on the tracks. But we're going to get a light stand, and we'll set it up. Sure.
And I'll grab the translucent umbrella.
Yeah, but we'd have to use that umbrella. Should we use my? Yeah, but we don't have a cover.
I don't have a cover for it.
Choose a small one.
We can use
without the cover.
we can use it without the cover.
See what it's like.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we can show them my cover.
Yeah, we can show the large cover.
Are you sure that's not going to go on fire, Alex?
No, it's not hot enough.
No.
That doesn't heat up at all.
Should we tell them what? Like, tell them I broke mine. But we can show. Yeah, you can definitely show the cover, so you can kind of see that. Yes.
Jenna asks, what does the investment look like to get it set up with newborn and maternity lighting? So 2 lights and 2 umbrellas.
Okay. So hold that question. Hold that question.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can see better.
Okay. So we have all this room?
Yeah. So it goes just slightly past the edges of the paper now.
Okay, perfect.
Before I was framed right in there.
Oh, and give me that little thingy. I use such tech terms.
Tech terms, that's all that matters.
I'm like, give me the thingy. What do you call this?
So it's our air remote.
Air was it?
Air remote.
Air remote. I don't know why I never said remote before.
Or trigger.
Because
Trigger.
I was going to say,
Trigger.
because
Use
before
trigger.
a lot of other companies
Transmitter.
they only trigger, so they're called triggers.
Triggers.
But this allows you to sync and control
Oh,
the light. So
that's
now
a
it's
big
a remote.
one.
So it's just like, think about it like a television remote control, how you can change the
Yes.
channels. Same thing from here.
Yes.
You can change the power.
Because you can change the power from here.
Yep, you never have to walk over your lights. It becomes more about concentrating on your subject
Yes.
and less about fiddling with your gear.
Yeah, so if I'm shooting a newborn, I have a really hard time mastering this because I immediately want to get off my ladder or wherever I am and go change in the light. Alex is like, it's right there,
It's
Anna.
definitely a thought process change.
Yeah.
But once you really adopt it, you're like, I don't know how I did it
Right.
before.
I'm still working on that. Alex is already attuned to it. I'm still getting off my ladder, but yes. Okay, so do you want to put the umbrella in first?
Yeah, I'm actually just going to show them real quick. I'll drape the large
Got it.
diffuser over there just so they can see how it goes on. But usually you would put the diffuser over the head.
Well, and it is important to tell them this is battery powered.
Yes. Oh, yeah. This light, the light that Anna uses is called the B1. We have this and the B1X, which is just the slightly updated version of it. But we have the B1, so if you're looking for something, like Anna really, really loved the fact that they were wireless, and so she didn't have any cords in the studio for anyone to trip over. But we also offer, if cords aren't as big of an issue for you, we also offer things like our D2s, which are really great lights as well. They're plug-in. Whereas these for Anna are also battery powered, so she can easily take them on location.
And we've taken them all over on the plane, all over the world.
So I'm just showing you. This is not the right diffuser for this size umbrella, but I just wanted to show you at least how the diffuser would go on the head first. You would put the umbrella in right here, and then the diffuser has elastic around it, so you just go around the unit. Like I said, this is a much larger diffuser for this umbrella, but that's kind of the idea behind it. We have it, we have a clear diffuser which will allow some light out of it, but we also have something called a back panel, which is actually a black cover which stops light from coming out of the back, so it only goes forward. So the look that Anna likes is the light kind of really, really filling the room. So she has a back panel and she has a shoot-through umbrella, and that's how she gets her look. I don't know if you want me speaking too much for you on that one, Anna, but
No, I mean, sometimes I don't know how I get the look I want.
I think that's the beauty, experimenting until you find it.
Yeah, I think that as photographers, I know in teaching, everyone struggles with lighting. When I started out, I was natural light, like most photographers. I didn't know a thing about lighting. And I took a 6-week intensive lighting workshop, which I highly recommend you do if you don't know lighting. Take a workshop that has studio lighting. The workshop I took wasn't a baby workshop. It was pure lighting workshop. So you go over all the butterfly, Rembrandt, split, all of that. But learning true high key, true low key, and it was like 6 weeks of immersion. And then we went out and learned off-camera flash. And I remember after those 6 weeks, I was like, well, I feel even stupider because it was almost too much information. But what was great was as the years went, I didn't run out and buy studio lights right away. Mm-hmm. In fact, the only thing I did get was an on-camera flash. I had the speed lights you all know, and I used that and then did battery packs, and I did speed lights for years before I even ventured into studio light. And then studio light was so scary, and once I really kind of, I think from a teaching perspective, I always feel bad because I know people struggle with lighting, and it's intimidating. And you feel like an idiot and you don't know what you're doing, and if you have to set up in front of a client, you really don't know what you're doing. I mean, I almost burned down my friend's house with hot lights one time. I was like, oh, I didn't know hot lights are like really hot and you could actually burn buildings down. And the husband was a firefighter, and he's like, the curtain smells. I'm like, oh, hot lights. And but I think as I'm listening to you talk, I don't really know sometimes how I get the look I want, but I definitely know the look I have. And so every session, Alex, we fiddle every session. Alex is like, Anna, you do this every day. I'm like, the light's not right, the light's not right, the light's not right. I have to feather it, feather it, feather it. And so I think as photographers, you have to really figure out what's your style, because so many photographers have different lighting styles.
Absolutely. I say to people all the time, it's funny because someone could copy your setup verbatim, but no photographer has the same creative eye the next person has. So even though you may have the same lights and everything else like that, you're going to interpret your art a little bit different.
Right.
And that's where, experimenting with your stuff and really finding your voice is a big deal.
It's not that it's not that there's really a wrong way then.
For the most part, there's not a wrong way. I think there are certain things.
Technical rules.
There's some technical rules that aren't necessarily going to harm you too much, but if you don't understand those, then you could potentially cut down on the efficiency of your light, not so much the actual light itself. So
well, and if you're entering for competition, you definitely have to know the rules of lighting, because they're going to call you on it and be like, oh, no. I've sat and watched my own work critiqued, and I'm like, oh, shoot, you're right. And they really call you on just the general rules of lighting. Light direction, more importantly, they want to see the light direction, because I think a lot of people struggle with flat lighting because you just can't see the light direction, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we have questions coming in, and one of the questions was on pricing, right?
Yeah, it says specifically, what does the investment look like to get a setup with newborn amateur lighting, 2 lights and 2 umbrellas?
Okay.
So depending on the size of the umbrella that you want, those prices vary. We make a small, medium, small, medium, large, extra large. So that looks like a 33 inch, a 46 inch, a 52 inch, and a 65 inch. Anna uses the 65 inch.
Now, question.
Yes.
Before you name out prices, let's say I'm a traveling photographer. I have a really small studio working out of the home. Can you effectively work with a newborn with this size?
Absolutely. I mean, the nice thing about babies is they're tiny.
Little.
So
you don't need a big light.
You don't have to go huge. You could easily get the smaller shoot-through umbrella, and all you would do is you just move it closer. You take it right out of frame.
Okay.
And that's going to be incredibly soft.
So why do we get such big ones?
What about maturity?
Because we like.
Well, you also do a lot of stuff with families and people who full body stuff here in the studio. So
correct.
you need something a little bit larger.
Correct. And I have tall clients. Okay, so they can effectively, if you're on a budget and you're in a small environment, you can use the smaller ones.
Absolutely.
So what would be the price range for, let's say, the smallest versus the largest?
So-
and does it matter versus cordless and battery?
No.
Right?
So our umbrellas, they work with the corded version. They work with the battery version. It's universal on that front. So our umbrellas range anywhere from, depending on if you go shallow or deep umbrella to extra large umbrella. They start in the low hundreds, and the biggest ones jump into like the mid 300s.
Okay.
So the extra large, the 65 inches, I think it's about $350-$360.
Okay.
Don't mark my words on that, but
Okay.
that's the ballpark.
Okay.
And then the actual flash units that Anna uses, the B1s, we're to the B1X now. We just introduced it a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
And it is per head about $2,100. So a 2-light, we sell them in 2-light kits. They're about a little under $4,200. And then the flash trigger itself, which the nice thing is this is the only thing you need. Everything else is built into the head.
Right.
This is about $400. If you don't need battery powered, we make our D2 lineup, which is about $600 less. So if you have access to plug into the wall, you can go the D2 route, get all the control that you have with your stuff, all the, like I said, the UV coated stuff to make sure you're protecting your subject,
Right.
for a better value.
Right. Now, where do they go to authorized dealers for
Yeah,
Profoto?
so I know at least here in the United States we have our authorized dealers. So you would just want to check Profoto.com,
Right.
and you can actually search store locators for your region, your country, your state, wherever you are, and a list will pop up.
Yeah, and you need to invest in your equipment and your lights and add it to your insurance as well. We have another question?
We have two questions.
Okay.
Someone asked, why not use window light anymore
Okay.
as opposed to artificial?
Okay. So one question was why not use window light as opposed to artificial light? I'd love to, but I don't have any. I actually have a retail studio, and we have curtains, if you've ever seen my studio, that just give us privacy to the studio, to the street. But the other side of my street is buildings. So there is no light that is strong enough to come in this studio. Any sunshine we get is way high above those buildings, and I cannot get any natural light. In fact, I tried natural light here a couple of years ago in my doorway in my front area, and that's the only light that I have. I really wish I did, because I shoot natural light and studio light, and I feel as a photographer you should know how to do both types of lighting so you're prepared in both situations. But I know that a lot of people don't have studio light,
Absolutely.
natural light.
Yeah, and I was just about to say, there are going to be times when maybe your client can't shoot during a time where there is enough light coming in, and you need to be able to provide that service to your client.
And I will tell you, we travel all over the world, and ask Alex how many times he's lugged this backpack on the airplane with us, because there's so many situations where you just don't know. You go somewhere and it's pouring rain. I've been shooting for Parenting Magazine going on my 7th year. Every month I get 11 assignments a year. I don't know where I'm going till like 2 weeks before. And they're like, Anna, you're going to shoot, blah, blah, blah. And we recently shot Jeff Lewis from Flipping Out, and we were so hesitant. Fortunately, he was in a gorgeous house with natural lighting, but we were like all ready to pack up our gear, because when you start getting high-end jobs, commercial jobs, celebrity jobs, you have to be prepared.
Absolutely.
If you get a celebrity calling and you go to their home and you're not prepared,
Yeah.
it's not going to look good.
Yeah, I mean, and you could get to a location, and the place where the natural light might be nice may not even look like what you want. Like maybe the best option is this, or maybe you get there and it's pouring rain and you're not getting any light. And so it's I think as a pro, just like you said, I think it's huge to understand natural light, absolutely.
Huge.
But it's also good to know that you have a tool in your arsenal.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have another question?
Yeah, someone asked, actually it's perfect. Jerry asked, I'm interested to know a good setup for traveling to homes.
Okay, so someone's asking a good setup for traveling to homes, I assume for newborn. So let's say they just wanted one light,
Yes.
one umbrella. I think that homes always have cords, but I'd rather have the cordless.
Yeah, it keeps you from tripping.
Yeah, because we've been to many homes where, especially the more modern homes, the power outlets are, I don't even know where they are half the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of things are in the ceiling these days. I mean, I've been to so many homes where you're like, do you even have outlets anymore? So I would say, if I was doing it, I would say like one of these, the B1, right, with just a smaller light.
Yeah, I would. I
And
think.
smaller umbrella.
Yeah, I think you could easily do your newborn setup here on location. 1B1, take the smaller shoot through, and then just a reflector on the other side.
Reflector.
A white reflector.
Yeah, you don't need two
and
lights.
then you have your fill on the other side.
Yeah.
And you're
Ready
getting
to
a
go.
big soft light with your umbrella.
Yeah, and everything comes in this really cool backpack. We have the backpack we can show you. Just throw it on and go. Alex, you want to pull out the backpack? Any other questions before we go, Evan?
Yeah. Someone asked, I would like to know what kind of warranty that these have, and then someone else, or same person actually said, like when you invest so much of, like so much time spent on playing something, it's a lot of money. So
Yeah.
It is a lot of money. Yeah, it is a lot of money, and I'll let you talk about the warranty, but I want to say, as far as the money for photography, I feel like, you know, when I started, I was very careful with my money. I did not spend a lot on props. I was more into the equipment. And I tell my son all the time that I bought used cameras for years. My lighting was always new, but my cameras and my first lenses were all used. But once I went to lighting, I bought new because of the warranty, even more so than the camera. Don't ask me why. But I will say that you have to definitely invest in your business for sure, and go on a budget it out and say, gosh, a wish list. You know, we haven't even bought the Mark IVs yet because we're always on a budget around here. And so Alex and I have been wanting the Mark IVs since they came out. It's like, well, it's not really on our list of must-haves. You know, you have to decide what is critical to your business, what is prohibiting you from making more money, what is prohibiting you from doing more shoots. That's where your money goes. A baby outfit can suffer. If your camera's working fine, you don't need a new camera, then that can suffer. I'll use my Mark III till it dies. But like, I know I can't get away without lighting equipment. So I think you have to really decide, right? I have got to further my business.
Yeah.
And where are you stuck? Is it your camera? Is it your lens? I mean, I just taught in Michigan, and for some people, it was their lens. You know, they bought a fixed, and they're like, I can't do anything with this fixed. I'm like, fixed lenses are great, but I'd rather have a range before a fixed. I'd rather have my 24-70 before a 35, because I shoot so many families, and I can't limit myself to a fixed lens. You know, so you've got to decide sit down, look at your budget, and say, what do I have to have? It's like we tell our kids, what do you have to go back to school? You know, you have to have a notebook and shoes, you know, other things you can kind of wait on. And I'm sure it comes with an amazing warranty.
Yeah, so we have a 2-year warranty on all of our stuff. The only thing inside of a flash that can't be warranted is the battery and the actual tube itself, because who's to say that you don't buy it and then just go home and just start flashing it thousands upon thousands of times. You may do it, you may not do it. But, and I will say this, so our 2-year warranty is awesome. Here in the United States, we have 2 centers that can take care of the stuff, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. So if something, you know, heaven forbid, does go wrong,
right,
we can easily take care of it.
Right.
But the nice thing about shooting Profoto and investing in quality gear is the fact that we really designed this thing to last.
Oh, yeah.
So I think the tough thing is a lot of people think about a lot of photography gear as just consumable stuff. Like, oh, new camera's out, I'll just get the new camera.
Yeah.
We don't design our lights like that. So just like today we came in and we updated your firmware on your B1.
Yes.
So as things get better, we can just update firmware. Whereas we don't have to sit there and constantly come out with a new light. So this stuff is meant to last for years and years and years. I know a lot of people who shoot our old Pro 5 packs, which are easily 30 years old.
Wow.
And which we haven't had parts for in probably 20 years.
Yeah.
And they work perfectly.
You know, we just went to Toronto, and we rented a beautiful studio, and I opened up the closet, and it was all Profoto. It was like a Profoto store.
Yep.
I mean, it was wall to wall. He had everything. I was so impressed with this studio. Alex, do you remember the name of that studio in Toronto? We should give him a shout out if I could remember that studio. It was a phenomenal studio, one of the most well organized, and we have been how many countries? I don't even know. The most well organized studio I've ever seen, and they deserve credit for carrying everything. But what I love is we've been to Italy, we've been everywhere, and everywhere we go, it's Profoto. And so years ago, I used to be intimidated.
Neighborhood studios.
Neighborhood studios in Toronto. fabulous studio, amazing, just amazing. But what I've noticed traveling internationally, your brand is the only brand we see in rental studios.
We pride ourselves on making sure that we have worldwide availability, whether it be for purchase or for rent. And the nice thing too is if you travel a lot like Anna, and maybe she's got her bags packed and doesn't need a bunch of extra stuff, she knows that, maybe I'm just going to take my light with me and I'll just rent the umbrella, or maybe I'll take my umbrella with me and I'll just rent the light. So if you need something, we like to make sure that we can always support our photographers. It doesn't matter what side of the world you're on.
Yeah, and actually, you brought up something that I didn't think of. They could rent it and try it.
Absolutely. It's not a thing where you have to purchase it. If you are doing a lot of natural light stuff in your studio, but then you get a gig where you have to go on location, just go rent the stuff. And as if that type of business starts to pick up where you're starting to be more on location, maybe then you purchase.
Correct. It's a good way. Yes, Evan, you have a question?
Yeah, someone asked about traveling, about what do you do with batteries on airplanes?
So I personally,
Well, they can't hear the questions. We have to repeat the question.
Yeah, that makes sense. So someone was asking about traveling with the B1s with batteries. I, for Profoto, am on probably 4 flights a week, except for when I'm here in LA because I get to hang out for a whole week.
Yes.
But so I'm on about 4 flights a week. I take my B1 batteries off. Let me cover it. I remove my B1 batteries from my unit. I put a piece of gaffer's tape or electrical tape over the actual lead so no metal touches them. And I personally check my bag. So I check my batteries, I check my bag, I check my camera. Just because I travel so much, it gets tiring to have to schlep it.
Yes.
So I'd rather just go to the gate or go to the front, check it, and go. So
we've checked it right in here.
Yep, and this is the backpack with the 2 light kit comes in. So
yeah, and it goes in our suitcase. We've checked it, right, Alex?
Yeah, we've checked it before.
We haven't done the gaffer tape though.
No, well, they have spots for the batteries there, so they shouldn't be touching anything.
Yeah, so I don't travel with the Profoto backpack because I put a lot more stuff inside mine. But inside the Profoto pack, we have actual slots that you can slide the batteries in, and then that way you don't have to worry about them touching anything.
Yeah.
That's really the main thing that you want to pay attention to whenever you're traveling with lithium-ion batteries. Is the main danger in it is just something touching the actual metal leads, and that's what causes damage.
Got it. Yeah, we were traveling with cameras, and they made Evan take his suitcase, his batteries out.
Yeah, just some airlines,
not happy.
They do require that you
Take them out of the suitcase.
have all your lithium-ion batteries in your
So you could just
carry-on.
okay. So you could just put the batteries in your carry-on if they say.
Yeah, if you need to, you can just quickly throw them in your carry-on, and then you could send the rest of the light under the plane, and it's not that big of a deal.
Right. Yes, Evan. Another question. Yes. To us. Evan, my son is here in the background helping us, and Alex is in the background as well. So they're all checking all the different pages and seeing your comments and questions. And we thank you for jumping on. Wasn't even announced.
Super last minute.
Like last minute. We're like talking. Hey, Chris, you want to go live? Sure. But I love doing that because Alex keeps yelling at me because he keeps saying we need to plan things better. And I'm like, we really do need to. But then people like Chris pop by. We're like, hey, why not? Let's go live. So here we are. So thank you for jumping on and asking your questions. This is all recorded, so it'll be saved on our YouTube channel and wherever you're looking at this, whatever Facebook pages. I believe we're at facebook.com/BellyBabyLove. It'll be saved, and the Anna Brandt Photographers Group. We have over 20,000 photographers in there.
Awesome.
And it's all different time zones. They're all over the world. So I'm sure in the 3 a.m. someone will be watching this. So I think it's awesome. We're just trying to pass on good information to the industry.
Absolutely.
Keep everybody safe and happy. Yes. Last question. Oh, yes. I almost forgot before we leave. We hit 100,000 subscribers today.
That's huge.
Very exciting.
Very quickly.
We've
What time do you have to leave?
in 5 minutes. I'm headed to a beach shoot. We have worked very hard for all 100,000 plus subscribers. I think we've worked very hard. But as I said earlier, we feel like we're just getting started. There's so many more things that we want to do. So I'm sure we'll have you back again. But if you're on our YouTube channel, make sure that you comment under the video giveaway, which is the video right before this video. We're giving away a free seat to one of my workshops. Read the rules on the video and comment below. We're going to pick a winner in 7 days. Thank you for subscribing and watching, and I can't thank you, and the Profoto team is amazing. You guys have really good customer service. Sarah, who I always talk to, is one of the nicest, kindest people that I've virtually ever met. and she tolerates me and my quick emails, and you guys have just been so supportive of me and my business, and you reach out to me, and I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Because I think that so many photographers are intimidated and scared, so I'm just trying to pass on the baton and try to pass on my knowledge and hopefully just make the industry a little bit better.
That's awesome, and I thank you for having me, and thank you guys for let me run my mouth for a little bit, and I had a great time.
So fun. So enjoy your week, and we thank you for watching.